that they never made a part of the band, and then they got the white girl, they made her a part, and they blew up. It's like, no, that's not how it happened.
When I first joined the Black Eyed Peas, it was like, I was so excited. It was like epiphany. And it was like, boom, where's the love hit? And it was like, who is this terrible person that is joining the Black Eyed Peas? She's ruining it.
They're like, it's a white girl, you know,
absolutely
joining a group that's like a hip-hop urban group that is going to draw some criticism.
No one's breaking up, no rumors. There was rumors that y'all are breaking up.
I remember having a conversation, we all did, with Ferg, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna do the solo thing.
Fergie's coming out with a solo album, and like earlier this month you guys performed and had someone else singing. She wasn't there. We replacing Fergie? What's happening in the future?
Journalists do a very good job of distorting reality.
Well, give me the reality then.
Somewhere in the endless playlists of the early 2000s, you'll find the soundtracks of an era. Hits like Where Is the Love, Boom Pow, and I Got a Feeling. Those songs weren't just chart toppers. They were the essence of a moment in time. They were everywhere, at parties, on the radio, during sports games, and even in commercials. And the masterminds behind these tracks, none other than the Black Eyed Peas. But fast forward to today, and things are different. The spotlight has dimmed, their music isn't dominating the charts like it used to, and longtime fans are left wondering, what happened to the Black Eyed Peas? Where did they go? The story of the Black Eyed Peas is one of reinvention, evolution, and resilience. To understand what happened, we need to go back to the beginning, to the roots of the group, the glory days, the challenges they faced, and the choices that shaped their journey. Humble beginnings. Before they were global superstars, the Black Eyed Peas were just 3 kids with a dream. In the early 1990s, Will.i.am, William Adams, and APLDAP, Alan Pineda Lindo, met in Los Angeles. They quickly bonded over their shared love for hip-hop and a strong desire to create music that could make people think. It wasn't just about beats and rhymes for them. They wanted to say something meaningful. Their duo became a trio when their friend Taboo, Jaime Luis Gomez, joined. With his energy and performance skills, the group felt complete. They called themselves Atban Clan, short for a tribe beyond a nation, a name that reflected their big dreams and the desire to reach people everywhere. At the time, their music was raw and experimental. They weren't chasing chart-topping hits. They were creating sounds that felt true to who they were. Their work caught the attention of Ruthless Records, the label founded by NWA's Eazy-E, and they signed their first record deal. It felt like their big break, but things didn't go as planned. Their debut album was shelved, and in 1995, tragedy struck when Eazy-E passed away. The group was at a crossroads, but instead of giving up, they regrouped, rebranded, and became the Black Eyed Peas. Their first 2 albums, Behind the Front, 1998, and Bridging the Gap, 2000, showed off their ability to mix meaningful lyrics with catchy beats. Songs like Joints and Jam gave a glimpse of their potential, but mainstream success still felt just out of reach. They had a small but loyal fan base, but they hadn't yet found their breakthrough moment. Not yet. The Fergie effect. In 2003, the Black Eyed Peas dropped their 3rd album, Ella Funk, and it completely flipped the script. This was no ordinary album. It marked the moment when Fergie, or Stacey Ferguson, became an official member of the group. She didn't just blend in, she brought this whole new vibe. Her powerful voice and undeniable stage presence added an energy the group had never had before. Right from the start, they hit us with Where Is the Love? The song was a punch in the gut, and we needed that. It tackled huge issues, racism, terrorism, inequality, and it struck a chord with people across the globe. Those lyrics, they felt real. It wasn't just a catchy tune, it was a call to action. People connected with it on a deeper level, and suddenly, the Black Eyed Peas weren't just a hip-hop group. They were becoming something bigger, something more important. And that was just the beginning. The hits kept coming. Let's Get It Started. Originally, Let's Get Retarded took over every party and workout playlist. It was the anthem of its time. Then came My Humps, a track that not only dominated the airwaves, but also became a meme long before memes were a thing. And let's not forget Pump It. That beat, impossible not to nod your head to. But it wasn't just the hits that set them apart. It was their ability to blend so many genres. Pop, hip-hop, electronic. They weren't just mixing sounds, they were creating a new musical language. No one else was doing it like them. By 2005, with the release of Monkey Business, the Black Eyed Peas were an unstoppable force. Stadiums were packed. They were collaborating with the biggest names in music, like Justin Timberlake. And their Grammy wins, just the cherry on top. The group had become one of the most influential forces in music, and it was clear the Black Eyed Peas weren't just riding the wave, they were the wave. From stardom to supernova. In 2009, the Black Eyed Peas didn't just release an album, they changed the game with the END. This wasn't merely a successful record, it became a full-on cultural moment. It was the album that pushed them from being pop stars to something bigger, something everyone could relate to. Take Boom Boom Pow, for example. From the first beat, you knew this track was going to dominate, but it was I Got a Feeling that really struck a chord. Suddenly, this song was everywhere, from weddings to proms, from sports events to nightclubs. It was the soundtrack to every big celebration. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing it. It wasn't just a song, it was a feeling, a promise that tonight, everything would be amazing. I Got a Feeling spent 14 weeks at the top of the Billboard Hot 100 and became one of the best-selling digital singles of all time. It wasn't just successful, it was iconic. But what made the END even more special wasn't just the chart toppers, it was how perfectly the album fit the moment. It was 2009 and EDM was beginning to take over the mainstream, but the Black Eyed Peas had already seen it coming. They weren't just jumping on the bandwagon, they were ahead of the curve. The futuristic beats and electronic sounds in the END felt like a new world, one that was energetic and alive, but still rooted in the Peas' hip-hop beginnings. They'd figured out how to blend the best of both worlds. When they followed up with The Beginning, in 2010, the group kept pushing forward. Sure, it didn't hit the same heights as the END, but songs like The Time, Dirty Bit, and Just Can't Get Enough showed that they weren't slowing down. By now, the Black Eyed Peas weren't just a group, you couldn't even call them a band anymore. They were a movement. They'd found a way to keep reinventing themselves, staying ahead of the trends, and making music that everyone could feel. It wasn't just pop music, it was the soundtrack to the world. The Fergie fallout. After years of dominating the charts and shaping the music scene, the Black Eyed Peas found themselves facing a new reality in the early 2000s. It's like that saying goes, what goes up must come down. After the immense success of The Beginning, the group decided it was time to take a step back. They needed a break, both for personal growth and creative exploration. During this time, Fergie focused on her solo career and her personal life. Her first solo album, The Duchess, 2006, had been a massive hit, and fans were eagerly waiting for what she would do next. But as she took some time away, rumors began to surface about tension within the group. Was everything okay? What did Fergie's departure mean for the future of the Black Eyed Peas? Fans were left with questions, and the uncertainty hung in the air. Then, in 2017, it became official. Fergie was no longer part of the Black Eyed Peas. the group made the announcement, saying they would continue their journey without her. It wasn't just a shift in membership, it felt like the end of an era. Fergie wasn't just the lead vocalist, she was the fire that brought something fresh to the Peas. Her voice, her energy, her star power, it had all been a huge part of what made the group so special. Her departure left a noticeable gap. The Peas were still the Black-Eyed Peas, still the powerhouse group that had once ruled the airwaves, but it was clear that something fundamental had changed. It wasn't just the loss of a band member, it was the loss of a certain chemistry, a certain magic. Fans couldn't help but wonder, what now? It was a pivotal moment in the band's story, and though the future remained uncertain, one thing was clear. They were turning the page to a new chapter, and nothing would ever be the same again. Reinvention and resilience. Rather than attempting to replace Fergie with another pop star, the Black-Eyed Peas took a bold, unexpected turn. In 2018, they released Masters of the Sun, Volume 1 Star, an album that marked a return to their hip-hop roots, a move that had fans both intrigued and excited. Gone were the days of mainstream pop anthems. This time, the Peas embraced a deeper, more authentic sound. The album featured collaborations with hip-hop legends like Nas, Slick Rick, and Phife Dawg, bringing that old-school energy back to the forefront. But it wasn't just about the music. It was also about messages. Masters of the Sun reflected the group's more socially conscious side, addressing important issues like inequality and injustice, showing that the Peas weren't just about catchy tunes, but about speaking out when it mattered. While Masters of the Sun didn't quite match the commercial success of their earlier hits, it was a massive critical success. The album proved that the Black-Eyed Peas were still a force in the industry, unafraid to take risks and evolve their sound. Even if it meant stepping out of the mainstream spotlight, they weren't afraid to break from the mold and follow their own creative path. It was a bold statement that said, "We're still here, and we're doing things our way." Fast forward to 2020, and the Black-Eyed Peas were once again reinventing themselves, this time with Translation. The world had changed, and so had their sound. In a new era where global music was becoming more influential than ever, the Peas dove headfirst into Latin influences. The album became a vibrant celebration of global rhythms, drawing inspiration from Latin culture and collaborating with some of the biggest stars in the genre, including Shakira, J Balvin, and Maluma. Translation wasn't just about crossing genres, it was about crossing borders. The album introduced the Black-Eyed Peas to a whole new generation of fans, finding success in places they hadn't before. Tracks like Ritmo and Girl Like Me found their way into millions of playlists, earning their spot as streaming hits and proving that the Peas weren't just keeping up with the times, they were shaping them. The Black-Eyed Peas had found a way to stay relevant and vibrant, transforming with the world around them, and once again proving that no matter where the music industry went, they were always ready to evolve and thrive. The legacy of the Black-Eyed Peas. Today, the Black-Eyed Peas stand in a unique space. They may not be topping the charts like they did back in the 2000s, but their influence on the music world is undeniable. It's like they've carved out their own lane in the industry. They may not be dominating the radio anymore, but their impact, their legacy, continues to ripple through the culture. They weren't just a group, they were pioneers. The way they blended genres, hip-hop, pop, electronic, was groundbreaking at the time. They didn't just make music, they made history. The Black-Eyed Peas broke barriers by bringing hip-hop to mainstream audiences while still staying true to their roots. That mix of fresh beats and socially conscious lyrics was something no one else was doing, and it changed the way we listened to music. Over the years, each member has stepped into their own light in different ways. will.i.am became a cultural icon, known not just for his musical genius, but for his ventures into tech innovation, entrepreneurship, and philanthropy. His name is synonymous with creativity and progress, both in and outside the music world. APL.DAPE, too, has made an impact, using his platform to advocate for education initiatives in his home country of the Philippines, uplifting communities in need. Meanwhile, Taboo found his voice as an advocate for indigenous rights, standing up for causes that matter and using his success to amplify those voices that often go unheard. And while Fergie may no longer be a part of the Black Eyed Peas, her legacy is forever intertwined with the group's success. She was the driving force behind some of their most iconic moments, and her contribution to their sound, to their energy, and to their image is something that can never be replaced. Her time with the Peas was more than just a chapter. It was a defining period in the band's history, and her influence still lingers in every note they play. So, while they may not be in the limelight like before, the Black Eyed Peas are still shaping the world in their own way. They may have evolved, but the spirit that made them one of the most influential groups of their time is still very much alive. And no matter where they go next, their story is far from over. What really happened? So, what really happened to the Black Eyed Peas? The truth is, they didn't vanish. They evolved. Their journey isn't one of fading away. It's a story of reinvention, resilience, and staying true to their passion. Through it all, they've faced the whirlwind of the music industry, the highs, the lows, the moments of uncertainty. And instead of folding under pressure, they've adapted to changing times, always finding ways to resonate with fans in different ways. The Black Eyed Peas of today may not look the same as they did in the 2000s, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing. In fact, it's proof of their ability to grow and change. They've shifted, expanded, and reinvented themselves while still holding on to what made them special in the first place. Their authentic sound, their boldness, and their ability to connect with listeners from all walks of life. They've never been about sticking to the same formula, and that's exactly why they're still relevant today. If there's one thing we've learned from their journey, it's that success isn't measured just by being at the top. It's about staying true to who you are, no matter where the world takes you. The Black Eyed Peas have shown us that embracing change is the key to staying fresh, to staying engaged, and to staying true to your creative spirit. They may not be the same group they were, but they've shown us something even more important. They're always evolving, always pushing forward. And if there's one thing for certain, it's this: the Black Eyed Peas are far from done. The next chapter of their story is still unfolding, and we'll be there to see where their music takes them next. The best is yet to come.